What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at some Penei Sewell against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, now this film has been definitely looked at a few times by a lot of people, and it's drawing a lot of attention right now. So I thought we would dive into it. Now, this is kind of broken into two parts, sort of. We're going to take a look at the Buffalo Bills first, kind of fly through that, and then we'll get into the Steelers game where it was definitely a little bit more rough. But if you guys want to skip right to the Steelers part, I get it if you don't really care about the Bills one, but I will tell you that he played better in the Bills game. Also wasn't playing that vet in Melvin Ingram, and that's what's been getting the attention recently. So if you want to skip to the Steelers side, go for it. We're trying to dive into it, learn about Penei Sewell, and I think once we get to the Steelers part, we start to dive a little bit deeper into some of the issues that he may have been having, showing good examples and bad examples on that side. So just stay tuned at least to the Steelers part. If you're going to watch me, promise me, just stay tuned to the Steelers part, because that's when I think things get real good. But when we look at the Bills as well, we're going to see a lot more good reps out of Penei Sewell, and you can kind of put it all together. So yeah, we're taking a look at Penei Sewell against the Bills and the Steelers, specifically the Steelers in this video. And I'm just excited to bring it to you guys because, like I said, it's been getting some attention. So I guess I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I didn't do the intro. I did not do. I'm going to do the intro, then we're just going to go right into it. So let's get it started.
Way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
I spent too much time on this Bills tape because I really want to look at the Steelers game, but I just want to show off some snaps here because he had a really solid game against the Bills aside from that first drive. Here's against Gregory Rousseau. Remember, pass protection different than run block. Run block is all about leverage, getting low, lowest man wins. And then in pass protection, while you want to stay low, which we'll take a look at, you know, it's about reacting to the defensive player, what strikes they throw at you. You also see that knee bend when you watch him play, which is exciting because you knew coming out of the draft, you know, he had that, but to see it when you slow it down, it's awesome to see that. And then here against a young Gregory Rousseau, he doesn't throw these little nuances or little like vet tricks at him. But when he has good balance, guys really struggle to bull him back to the quarterback, bull rush him back to the quarterback. Gets his right hand a little bit more inside here, left hand on the outside. A lot of times from what I've seen is that offensive tackles do that to kind of stop the inside rush, you know, an inside move. It also depends on who you're going against and how they're setting up against you defensively. And then sometimes they can even drop, in this case, his right arm and just kind of push him out of the play with his left arm. But in this situation, I like how he repositions his hands because it's all about hand placement for the defensive guy and for the offensive guy. Look how he repositions his hands underneath, gets in a good spot here, and he holds up in pass protection long enough for Jared Goff to feel in a comfortable pocket. Was it the best rep? No, but it gets him through his first progression, probably his second progression. He's able to go underneath without anyone touching him. So it was solid. Then he come back with this run play. Here he is. This is about staying low. It's about leverage, pushing forward, and you just see that knee bend. What you like about this rep, what it really wants you to focus on is his back, but notice how he stays low through the rep, bending his knees. You know, he's not just hunching over. He's bending his knees so that he can bring that force to this defensive lineman. Look at that. He lifts his chin up, brings the force, and he's pushing him back. He actually puts him in the ground. As you can see here, he brings him down to his knees. So when you talk about straight up going forward here, you're needing a yard. Sewell gave you exactly what you needed in that rep. And, you know, he was a guy that didn't play in your normal passing offense, so he's had a lot more of that kind of run blocking opportunities. But that was a great rep. And then look at this one. Just look at the drive he gets on this play, right? Right tackle, they have the tight end on his side. Bam! You see how he hits him low? Right off the snap, bam, just hits him low. Lowest man wins. Consistently did that in this Bills game. See how he gets lower than his man? He's just dragging him back. He probably has the best blocking rep right now, aside from, I don't even know who that is down there. And he pushes him out of the play, doing his job one-on-one. Then you see the get off, and I like this. This is something that a lot of times you only see from vets, but he threw it out in this first game. You know he's been working. Good get off. Here we go. We see the arm thrown out. Sometimes the best tackles, and, you know, sometimes these guys can fake it. Sometimes these offensive tackles can fake it and, you know, show one thing, so that way a defensive lineman sticks their arm out, and that way they can smack it down. But you see the edge rusher in this spot, which I think is Daryl Johnson. You see him stick out that right arm here. Penei Sewell goes right down for the chop. Now, it doesn't bring him to the ground. We saw Big V do this pretty successfully. Actually, Big V's really good at that. But after the chop then, notice how he's not out of position. It's not like he leaned with the chop. He lost balance. He got hunched over. He kept balance. All right, he repositioned himself, and then it's about that right right hand to push him back out of the pocket. Just watch how he picks this up. You know, he's got inside, outside. He's on an island here. He starts outside, steps in front, and he's trying to like kind of throw back and forth at him. And bam, Sewell gets locked in. Right hand inside, left hand not allowing that inside pass rush move. Now, after this game, Sewell said it himself. I got to make sure I get my hands in. You know, that's something I have to do better. They're way too wide right now. And you see it on this rep. It's not a bad rep. There is no flag, but you want to be careful that you're not getting holding calls. He doesn't get one here. He's in a good spot, but his hand is just a little bit too wide. You know, he gets a little bit on the outside. Sometimes I think here he's got to, like right here, you got to let go. You got to watch for that. He didn't get called for a holding call, but more of this, they call it a jump set. It's really how you set up play action. You sell play action like this. But this is a zone play action, you know, like a zone run play action. So they sell it really well as an offensive line. Look at Penei Sewell. He gets downhill a little bit. Now, you can't block downfield, of course, on a passing play. He gets back into it. I like how he gets back behind the line of scrimmage and picks him up again. That was cool. That's just a really nice rep, but it's also smart. He's not running downfield blocking, understanding that, hey, yeah, it's play action. I can't do that. And just look at this rep. This is, I believe, nope, this is Daryl Johnson again. This is Daryl Johnson. Actually, more of his reps came against Daryl Johnson watching it back. But this is a really nice rep. Bam. All right, left hand on the outside, right hand on the inside. As you see, Sewell's left hand gets a little bit too wide on this. Now, this is going to be a straight drop, so this is not one of those jump sets, okay? This is more of a 45-degree angle drop. It's in that second step back, but he gets his left hand just a little bit too far on the outside. The right hand's in a good spot, stays pretty square to the line, keeps a good leverage, but he's just a little bit too far outside. And what really these offensive tackles try to do is that they try to get that thumb twisted over. They want to get under the armpit of an offensive line. First off, it's hard to call a flag because you're inside. They don't call flags usually when you're in the inside. But number two, you get inside that armpit and guys cannot get out of it. They can't release. They can't smack your arm down. They can't chop it off. His right hand, even though it's hard to see, is right in that spot. And you see him kind of try to go through the rip through, but he's got it locked. Look how Penei Sewell has this guy literally locked up. Did you see that little rip through? He tried to throw at Penei Sewell with that left arm. Nothing there, though, because he's inside basically that armpit with his right hand. His left hand has the outside to kind of slow down that inside pass rush attack. And then he tries to throw him and hit him with a rip through, but nothing there with the counter, and he's locked. And then Sewell does a good job of letting go when he tries to spin out, avoiding a holding call, and boom, there we go. That's all you want from Penei Sewell. Now, this is one of those situations where, yeah, you would like maybe to see him block to the second level a little better at this right tackle spot, but you need a yard, so just give me a yard. So he takes on this diagonal block, opens up the hole for a yard, okay? Yeah, maybe he could have picked up the linebacker, but you're just trying to get a yard. He's just trying to move the first guy he sees, and that's what he did on that play. Watch this. Boom. All right, now, they're going to hit him with that strike inside, but look at how he gets square, aligned to the pass rusher, gets back into play, and then right back there he is, connected once again with two hands. I like how he can recover. That's just the athleticism. Now, that play didn't actually count because there was a flag that, you know, took that play away. We'd like to see him move him a little bit more to help open up this lane, but we've seen them throw him to the second level. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. But because of the athleticism, we can expect to see that a lot going forward. This is one of those refs where I think you should highlight it for Penei Sewell because this is something you'll see against the Steelers as well. But what you like here is that he stays pretty square to the line of scrimmage. It helps him so the defender can't go either way. Allows him to basically split this defender in half and then maybe even again with that angle that he has here. He gets right inside. That's good hand positioning. And you can just see, look where he is. He's right underneath the armpits. He's right here on the defensive line and no chance. And he just can't throw anything at him. Now, he does get his arm up a little bit, but there's nothing there. And that's what I was saying. Like, we weren't even running the ball well, but Goff had a clean pocket consistently on the second drive. That speaks to the players that you have individually. They weren't throwing blitzes or maybe really even stunts at us like the Steelers did a little bit more. But one-on-one, we held our job. And you know what's funny as I say that? They throw kind of like a late stunt at us here. All right, so watch. Sewell's going to attack inside. He's going to hand him off, which is fantastic recognition by Sewell. He's really good at this as well. We'll take a look at it in the Steelers game. Pass it off to the inside, and then there he is. Bam. To recover, gets low to the ground, stays balanced, picks up the inside or interior defensive lineman. But you even see, too, like, he's hard to bull rush back if he's balanced. See how he gets square? You really can't bull rush this dude back. But if he's unbalanced, like we'll see with Melvin Ingram, Ingram ain't stronger than him, but he could get him off his spot a little bit. You know, so that's something we'll see when we get to it. And this one was the last play. It was just simply a terrible get-off. Look how late he is. He's still in his stance after everybody left. They're watching the football a lot of the time, especially if they're going like silent counts, you know, out of the kind of their peripheral. And as soon as that moves, or sometimes they watch the center, if their head comes up, then they move. But in this play, what you're seeing is that he was just super late off the snap, and that caused him to get behind. Now, he didn't give up pressure or anything because he recovered and got that push out of the pocket. Good job, interior offensive lineman, to kind of open the gates, and he was able to step up. We know how this play went, right? He tried to scramble. But the point is that Sewell had a solid outing against the Bills after that first drive. And the first drive wasn't terrible. He just missed the block at the second level, and then he gave up a little pressure off the edge, but it wasn't even like he really gave up the sack. And that's why PFF gave him a strong grade in that game.
The good thing about this is that even though it was a rough game, he put a conscious effort towards making sure that his hand placement was tighter. It wasn't as wise game before because you worry about, holding calls. Plus, you can't really punch when you're too far on the outside. So he was trying to make sure that his hand placement was better, and also keeping, low to the ground, keeping that knee bend because you don't want to hunch over and get lost. So he was focusing on trying to fix that, which is nice. Now, he had a rough game, but he's also going against a veteran pass rusher, where in the other pass rushers didn't really have success against him other than Melvin Ingram. But Melvin Ingram knows how to set you up defensively. So when you watch through this film, which we're about to go through, is that Melvin Ingram set him up a couple times early. Now, he responded to that, just keep getting beat on the same thing, which I love. He showed some good reps. He also had his bad ones, but Melvin Ingram showed him things that he probably hasn't seen before because he threw these moves at him just like Cameron Wake would throw at a young offensive tackle. It hasn't went against a top-tier stud defensive end in college. Like, he didn't get those matchups, and even if he did, they weren't one-on-one. But he didn't line up against those guys where it was like, man, he's going to be a first-round talent. He didn't get those reps in college, and then he took a year off. For him, this is probably a big change of pace to have a guy like Melvin Ingram come at him. So there was going to be ups and downs, but you like that he adjusted to things. So when we look through this film, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Look at this Steelers game. Now, Steelers game, he was going against a vet right here in Melvin Ingram for about probably more than half the snaps, and it did cause some issues. But in this game, you saw some problems, but you also saw the guy bounce back, and that was the important thing in this game. Okay, so you're seeing that right tackle here, and yeah, there were some bad reps, and some of these clips I had to take out because you really just could not see the offensive line until the play was basically over. This is, again, kind of that play action look, so they're selling it the best they can.
See it here. It's not even as much about these blocks as it is just selling this run initially. You can see now the defense lineman plays textbook here. He gets low, stays really square. He gets the leverage on Sewell here, and Sewell strikes high, so he kind of whiffs, and that loses his balance. You can see his foot comes off the ground, and that's why he's ultimately pushed back and he falls over. It doesn't really matter too much. It's more about selling the run, but I thought I would at least point it out.
Because they got a little off balance, they were able to push him down. I mean, it was just one of those plays that looks worse than maybe it was because it didn't really affect anything, but obviously it's balance. For him, balance seems to be super important. But then here we go to these pass rushing reps, and there was good and there was bad. And what you notice that Melvin Ingram, the vet that he is, he does little things that other guys don't do. That in the game, week one, they didn't throw at him. That he hasn't been maybe used to seeing. And I hope Trey and Romeo throw some of this at him as well. But I think he'll get better. He's just a young player, man. And you see it right here with this first rep. All right, great get off. You love that. But one thing that you always know about offensive linemen is, first off, their hips, their feet, they marry with their hands. Everything's got to be kind of working together. And you also want independent strikes as well. You don't want to go like this. Unless it's a bull rush, it's coming, and sometimes you can get inside the chest and you can hold him there. That's great, but they want independent strikes. But really is never stop moving your feet. Short shuffle, short slide, just keep your feet moving, because if you get flat-footed, especially against a guy like Ingram, a speed rusher, you're in a really bad spot. And that's kind of what we saw in this rep here. Bam, look where he is right now. He is flat-footed. Now, why is he like that? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Why did he get flat-footed? He got flat-footed because when you really slow it down, Melvin Ingram did this a few times. He threw off these little hints. Oh, I'm cutting inside. Oh, I'm going to speed rush outside. I'm going to dip. And then Sewell would react to that, and he hit him with something completely different. He threw these fake, pass rush moves at him. You see it here. Watch this. Bam. See that? You guys see that? Bam, in and out. He steps in. So Sewell stops. Sewell stops moving his feet. He steps inside, gets flat-footed as if he's just going to run right at him. And all of a sudden, he knew he wasn't going there. He steps back in and out, and now he's got that space. He's got the edge around him, and he's running back to the quarterback. Okay, those are the little things that we didn't see the Bills throw against right here. All right, see how he gets flat-footed? You never want to get flat-footed as an offensive lineman in pass protection. So he hits him with the outside rush. Sewell, though, shows us a little bit of that recovery. Melvin Ingram, this should be a clear sack. Against most tackles, it's an easy sack. But you see how he stays in the play, runs with him, just turning and running at this point. It's just like, I got to do something. Keeps that left hand on him, helps try to ride him out. Doesn't affect Boyle's pass, but it affects him throw it a little bit faster. That was a rough rep. You do like the fact that he recovered a little bit. But at the same time, like I said, it's just that his feet stopped moving, and he was thrown off by that little head bob. This one's a pretty simple rep. You're kind of just selling the run with the play action, the pulling guard to throw it out. But you see how low he gets, and he kind of holds his ground. I mean, that's not really a huge rep, but my point is that he does a good job of staying low. And then there's this one, and this is what a lot of people have been pointing to, like, man, Sewell looks so bad. And this one's clean, because I didn't notice this till the 7th time I watched it, and I was like, hold up, I see what Melvin did there. Watch Melvin, very subtle. Fake outside the speed rush, because remember, Sewell already got beat on it, so now Sewell's got that in the back of his head. Fake, subtle, outside speed rush, and break inside. Watch this, right here. Okay, you see that? Boom. He's flashed to the outside, and all of a sudden he hits him back, punches him inside, and he's able to get back to the quarterback.
This is tough for any young offensive lineman against a vet pass rusher. And in the words of Cameron Wake, you can either kick and be light on your feet or sit and stay stout. And basically that means, hey, if you're just going to sit there, I'm going to work around the edge. And this is tough because a guy like Melvin Ingram transfers his speed rush move into power, and it throws off Penei Sewell. Now, for Penei Sewell, this is not going to be one of those jump set looks. And from what I understand, what he needs to make sure that he does here is that he has to keep square to the line as best as he possibly can. Now, this is going to hit on his second kick step back, so it's not one of those jump sets. It takes a little bit longer, but he has to stay square because right now what he's giving him is that way for him to open it back to the pocket. He's susceptible to those power rush moves inside, and because he gets a little bit to the side and doesn't stay square, he's able to beat him inside with the power move. So here's an example, and vets will throw out like fakes and things like that. Notice his first step is back to that vertical set like Sewell's, but you see how he stays square to the line of scrimmage? That makes it so there's not one option for the rusher to attack.
But I will give credit to Big V before we move forward, because Big V did something that I think we haven't seen a ton of, but when you slow it down, you see it. Big V does a fantastic job here of helping. Watch this by Big V. Bam. So good rep by Big V, gets inside. He does a really good job here getting inside the chest of the defensive player. This is where you get that boom, two-arm strike. He thinks that bull rush is coming. He's also playing guard, which is different than tackle. And he reacts really quickly. And then you see the help to really slow down Melvin Ingram off the edge. That was a really good job by Big V. I just had to give him some credit for that because I don't think he, maybe has gotten credit for that little thing. However, it's about responding, learning from it, and coming back better. That's what it is about. A young guy, you're going to see reps, you're going to get beat, especially in the preseason. Now let's come back and do something about it. And like Dan Campbell said, this is why I wanted to go against Ingram. This is good. This is really good for Sewell. If you went against another rookie and he, played solid, yeah, it might look better to us fans, but then when we head in against a Nick Bosa, now you're thinking to yourself, oh gosh, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's going to throw all these little things like Melvin Ingram did right at him. And if he ain't prepared for it or he's never seen it, it's going to be some problems because he always stays very low, and it's not that he's bending at the waist as much as he's bending at the knees, which keeps him very flexible and keeps him very balanced. So he stays bent. Here comes the speed rush to the outside, and he's able to just flow. Small chops, keeps his feet moving, all right, and Melvin Ingram tries to attack inside, and that's when it's just about hand battling.
Definitely think we're onto something here. Just like we said, he could have stayed square to the line much better, and you see that vertical step drop backwards. He's not jumping out on this, but notice how he stays square to the line of scrimmage, and he takes away that, hey, or either you step outside and I'm going to basically push you over like Melvin Ingram did, or I'll just beat you around the edge. He takes that option away by being able to stay square to the line of scrimmage, and it just looks like a better rep as a whole, and Melvin Ingram doesn't really have a way to attack here.
The combat, repositioning inside like Sewell we saw in the past did, and there's nothing there for Melvin Ingram. This is a really good rep this time. See how he tried to do him again? You see how he tried to hit him with the same move that he hit him with last time? Watch this. Fake outside. I'm going to break him inside. But Penei Sewell does a great job staying low, staying balanced, so he's able to respond to that. And as soon as he tries to break back inside, Sewell does what we see against the Bills, gets his hand to stop that inside rush. Once he gets his hand out there, now Melvin's got to try to come back around. Now all of a sudden it's about getting that right hand inside. Look where he's got it. He's got it trying to get it right under the armpit, and there's nothing there. Melvin Ingram has no push. He's basically stonewalled, and it's a clean pocket for Boyle, even though in the front it gets tipped. So that was a great response to him against Melvin Ingram. That was fantastic. And even a play like this, it doesn't show up in a stat sheet. It's something small, but it's just the awareness that, hey, there's a blitzer coming. And I think we actually missed one of those against the Bills. I might have to go back and find it. But basically the point is an offensive lineman has to recognize when they're matched up before it's snapped, who is my guy, and if he drops into coverage, who do I have next? Well, this situation is a little bit different because no one drops, but he's going to help on the inside here. But see how he keeps his head up, helping at the same time? Sees the blitzer, and he's able to slide off and just basically make a wall. So there's nothing there. And we've seen we did this to other teams where we would have a guy slide inside, Melvin Ingram could take the outside on tight end. All of a sudden, it should be a clear lane because you have Penei Sewell, who is helping out this interior offensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. But instead, he's aware, slides into between, and all of a sudden, he shuts down that blitz. Now, the other side's getting killed over there, but on his side, it's a really strong rep again. That's what you like to see out of Sewell. You like to see the awareness, those things that we expected to see when we picked him up.
Another good rep, and he'll learn. He'll get more consistent. It's a good get off, does his work early. Then he stays low. Talk about staying square to the line of scrimmage much better. And then notice when he's balanced, he's low, he's square to the line. Melvin doesn't have an easy attack here. There's no bull rush opportunity at all.
Push, but he doesn't get lower. You can see both of them go up. Sewell gets a little bit higher here. You hate that. His arms are a little bit over top, so he has a lot less strength. But you can see just great connection, though. He stays connected with this lineman, kind of repositions a little bit lower as the play goes on, and he's able to work him back. Subtle rep, but it was solid. Again, at the right tackle spot, here's the speed rush off the edge, and look, he's getting a little bit of help from the tight end on this play, Darren Fells. They put him out there a lot, which makes sense. You can see he tries to get him that chip block. And really what that does, it forces him back inside. So this helps a ton for Penei Sewell. But he sees it. He steps to the outside. Look at these. You see the short steps to make sure he can't break outside. But then it's all about counter moves. The best pass rushers are all about counter moves. A lot of their sacks don't come on the first move. It's the second they throw at you. So his counter here is attacking back inside. Now, Sewell at this spot looks now, it's like, oh, he's going to get killed to the inside. And then it's just about being an athlete, staying low, watch his knees bend, bam. Look how low. He stays low, based, and then all of a sudden he gets square to the line of scrimmage, and he's right in front of him again. He's reset, and here we go. Right now, this rush does get around the edge a little bit when Boyle rolls out. If he doesn't roll out, this may not actually happen. But because he rolls out, they get a late stunt here. And Sewell can't really help. He sees him, but if he leaves his guy, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, he's going to get sacked. So for Sewell, if you would have maybe threw him on the ground at the beginning of play, yeah, he may have been able to help here. But in terms of what we saw early, for him to come back like this, that's all you want to see out of the young dude. As he starts to the outside and positions his body there, there's an early left punch that he throws at Melvin Ingram to stop some of that inside momentum, which allows him to get back in square because he does move him back. If he doesn't land this initial strike, he's probably going to get beat to the inside because he sets his body up to stop the outside rush. But then when it comes back inside, because he throws that strike with his left hand, a lot of power there, boom, he's able to get enough separation between him and Melvin Ingram to stop that rush and get himself back in position where he can pick back up.
Seen Sewell flash some fantastic get-offs, but just notice here, look how Melvin, he's at about full speed, 2-point stance. That helps him get downhill, and Sewell's just a little bit behind, and that's why he has to play the outside rush again here. So you just need to see more consistent get-off. That way he's in a spot and does that work early. That way he's not chasing.
It's just one of those reps where he's just a little bit late to the outside. All right, it's just as simple as that. He's just late. I mean, there's no tricks here by Melvin Ingram. Maybe he was playing a little bit too patient with this one. He comes out a little slow, but he doesn't realize maybe how fast Ingram is seeing this live in person, and he's just late to react to. He's just behind. But you do give him credit for giving that right push with his right hand out there because he's able to keep him off the throwing arm of Boyle to keep him out. But that was just being a little bit late off the snap. It was just as simple as that for that rep. Now, when you get things like this, we know the athleticism to get outside, to pull, to get to the second level. But he plays a little bit tall on this rep, swinging to the outside. He's a little tall, boom. And when he makes contact, the issue is because of how tall he's playing. When he makes contact, you see his right foot's not even on the ground yet. So it looks like, oh, Melvin Ingram just rocked him. But he didn't. It's just that he doesn't have any balance because he's only got 1 foot on the ground. And he's kind of playing tall, so he's much bigger than Melvin, so he's losing all the leverage in this situation. So when he gives him that shove inside, it throws him back. All right, so those are just things that you need to see consistency with going forward, seeing him improve. This might be one of Sewell's best reps of the day. This is pretty. This is a pretty rep from a young dude against a vet. All right, so he's working to the outside. You can see the lateral movement. You see how he stays low in his stance. All right, not crossing his feet. That's one thing I saw a couple of reps where he would cross his feet. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that as a lineman because then you're losing all balance. You think about if your feet are crossed and someone pushes you anywhere, you're probably going to fall over, right? So you can't do that. But see how he doesn't cross his feet, stays low, and then it's just his first strike is beautiful. This is a pretty first strike. He lands it pretty early. He's going to kind of initiate the contact here, right? So he's going to play him to the outside, but again, it's just not allowing him to tack back inside because of the role he's playing, bouncing to the outside. So boom, that first strike. He initiates the contact with one arm, playing independently. He's going to sit this right arm down at first and then bring it up later, depending on what move Melvin Ingram's going to throw at him. So he's just going to throw one arm. But what you like is how well he connects. This strike is pretty. Bam. He lands right on the shoulder pad. He lands right there with his first rep. And that's it. That's basically a wrap for the play because now Melvin Ingram is locked. And once you realize that, he's like, I got to punch this arm off. All Sewell then does is he just has to get inside. The more he gets inside up in the armpit, the less chance he's going to have of breaking this off. So that one arm really just stonewalls him here, and he's got no chance to pass rush. That was a pretty rep, and it was just a really good first strike. But it's a fantastic get off. You know how fast that he can do it, and it's just about picking up timing of the offense, things like that. He'll get better. He'll get better. It's still early. So he just plays his speed around the edge, gets him with the left hand, and just rides him out of the play. Simple as that. That's what these big linemen can do. If they get you right here, he can just ride you out of the play with that left hand. It was just a very simple rep. The screen got blown up. And then I like how he sticks after it after the play. Rep is a little bit better from Sewell. It's the same move Melvin's thrown at him basically 3 times. I like how he plays low throughout the play. The issue is he stands tall right here. He gets a little bit too tall, which again has him lose a little bit of balance. So you just want to stay and keep those knees bent. So he gets a little tall at the end of this play, and Melvin's going to hit him with the same thing, trying to get him thrown off. The good thing is, though, he's keeping his feet moving. Because of that, he's able to get back on his feet, and then it's just about recovering. And this is, again, where you would think, oh, Melvin's going to get the inside. But you see the recovery, bam. The recovery. Yes, Penei Sewell. Did he have a little bit of a rough run against Steelers? Oh, yeah, he did. It was not beautiful, but you also saw a guy respond, not lay down. You saw him try some different things. And you also saw that potential. Against the Bills, he played really well in my eyes, aside from the first drive, to be honest with you. But the thing is about Sewell is that he's young. Like, we expected this. I think we all expected this. Even before we drafted, I was like, it's going to happen. This is why I want to keep Crosby, because he's young. He hasn't played in 2 years. He's moving spot. I mean, even if he played last year, he's still so young at this spot. He's going against a guy like Melvin Ingram. And let's be real here. Every tackle can have issues against Melvin. It's not just Sewell.
But I think the good thing is that you take away from this is, yes, did he get beat in reps? Yes, he did. But he also showed good reps as well. He adjusted to it and had some good reps. So you got to find consistency. And I think some of that is also switching sides. We talked about I got to get my hands right. I think that's part of it. Hand placement's got to be different. Usually you're leading with your right hand. Now he's leading with his left hand. That's got to just feel different. And that's all got to marry with your, your hips, your legs, your feet. I mean, it's all got to marry together. So there's a lot there and just getting comfortable with that. Also, your kick slide back, getting depth. That's something that we saw good reps of, but we just need to see it. Consistency, the get off. Sometimes his snap count, he's a little off. Sometimes he's the last guy. Sometimes he's the first guy. So getting those things together. It's not like he can't do it. It's not like he's never showed us he could have good reps. It's just that we're seeing it up and down right now. That's okay. That's just that we know that Penei Sewell can do this. It's just going to take a little time. We just got to be a little bit patient with Penei Sewell going forward. He's going to have guys like this thrown at him all year. So it's good to have it now, and the Lions got to keep testing him in practice with different moves. Have guys throw different things at him. For example, we go against Khalil Mack and he starts throwing that long arm. Think about it like this. You reach out two hands, you only can reach so far. You go with one, you can reach a lot further. And Sewell doesn't have that great of length. So when you got a guy like Khalil Mack coming at him, throwing that long arm rush, that could lead to issues. So they got to work with that in practice to make sure that he's on top of it. I'm sure Hank Fraley will. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.